Utah, we have LaunchUp.
Really cool. He could not stay for later. So Norm Wright, who is the Dean of the Business School at UVU, and probably the only one of us here with a suit and a tie, he's going to tell us a little bit about this seminar. So Norm and I actually were both on the governor's trade mission to China and had a lot of time on buses and talked about a lot of really cool things. And UVU is doing some really awesome stuff. And one of these is this push to do stuff in China. So tell us about it, Norm.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it. And for those of you who don't know, I have actually seen Jeremy wearing a suit and tie himself, so he's not that clean, actually. But anyway, great to be here among the entrepreneurial spirit and feel the energy in the room. It's a lot of fun. One of the things we're trying to do at Utah Valley University at the Woodbury School of Business is we are trying to link ever tighter into the Utah business community. That's kind of our role in the state. That's what the state looks to us to do. That's what we look to do. And so we are trying to be out at these kinds of events. But we're also trying to hear from you, trying to listen to you, trying to understand what you need from us. And as we do some of that, one of the things that we have heard is of the interest in doing business with China, whether that's outsourcing, whether that's providing services, whether that's exporting, or whatever form that might take. And as a partial response to that need and to that desire, we're offering next week on Thursday a Doing Business with China conference. And I'm pleased to report that at that event, we will have the Chinese Council for the Promotion of International Trade with us. We've got their vice chair there and their director of the Americas. And what they are charged with doing for all of China, they represent about 250,000 businesses. You can think of them in some ways as a chamber of commerce for international trade. And that's their charge. Their charge is to promote business between China and the rest of the world. And so we're pleased to have those folks with us at that event. We are also finalizing, I can't officially announce this, but given that I'm amongst entrepreneurs, I guess I can do whatever I want. We have the possibility, we have secured the services of someone from the NDCP, I think, NDCP. This is the group that sets the 5-year economic plans for China, and this is the author of the current plan. I'd like to announce that he's going to be here. The only challenge we have is visa. We're not sure if he's going to get the visa or not. But anyway, so if he comes, that'll be a little bit of icing on the cake. We've also got folks from other angles, some local folks who do business from the finance industry, from the outsourcing industry, big and small. So we have a lot of kind of breakout speakers also. They're going to address some additional smaller topics. Finally, the other person we have Manny Menendez with us out of Honolulu and Beijing. Manny is the author of the first joint venture agreement between a U.S. company and a Chinese entity and has been in China ever since there, so years and years of experience. So the format is we'll have a lot of time with Manny, we'll have some breakout sessions with attorneys, with financial people, et cetera, with years of experience in China. And then we'll have some networking opportunities and a chance to hear from the people at CCPIT. And so we hope you'll join us. If you'll just go to our webpage, uvu.edu, you'll find us there. To be honest, we're looking for one of you to come in and tell our people how to revise the registration system so that you don't have to provide your last 3 years' worth of income tax returns, et cetera, et cetera. It's an onerous process. It's not that bad. But if you get hung up on that, just give them a telephone call. The number's there. And what I'll do is I will leave these little flyers at the back of the table close to the food because then we know that they'll get some attention. So please join us there next Thursday in the morning, run about 8 o'clock till about 1 o'clock, breakfast and lunch included. So join us. We'd love to see you. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks. I can tell you after spending 5 or 6 days in China that if you're an entrepreneur and you're not at least kind of curious and maybe wondering what's going on over there, you need to worry about, not worry, that's the wrong thing. You need to be thinking about China. You know, it's a country that is like exploding and there's just a lot of opportunities. And so a day like this, you'll get your wheels spinning definitely. So all right, we're going to start with our AMP session. So Jay Bean is the founder CEO of Orange Soda. Jay and I have known each other for a while, and he's going to tell us he's going to tell us something awesome and something AMP worthy, right?
I hope so.
Cool.
I gave up caffeine about 2 weeks ago, and so this is after about 100 ounces a day for the last, I don't know, I think I've been at startups for the last 10 or 11 years, and so I decided that I would give it a shot for a couple of weeks, and I'm still alive, and so it's good. So if hopefully I won't fall asleep or anything here, or you guys won't. So I founded a couple of companies. The latest, I hate not having something to do with my hands. Maybe I'll put them behind me. So Orange Soda is a company I founded with a couple of other guys 4 years ago. And so I've started a few companies over the years, and a couple of things that I want to actually talk about. One of them is change, and I think that as entrepreneurs, as we're sitting at home one night, or we're out and we're passing a business, or we think of a new idea, we start thinking about that, and we think about, hey, how can this device, or how can this product, or how can this solution help other people? And I think kind of entrepreneurism really comes down to our desire to change and want to change something. And I haven't created a Google or a Facebook or a group on the fastest growing company ever. They should have taken the $6 billion, but creating something and seeing something of value and seeing how it's changing lives, and it may be other businesses' lives, it may be your employees' lives, it may be your family's life. This all goes through change. And so anyway, a couple of years ago, we're struggling through some stuff with Orange Soda, and one of our guys was like, this is just too hard. Why does this have to be so hard? Why can't we have done something differently? And I think a lot of times, obviously there's lots of great business books, and but there's not a book that says, hey, if you start here and you do this step and this step and this step, you're going to be successful. If that were the case, we would have no employees. Everyone would be out starting companies. And it takes change. I mean, I think part of starting a company and growing a company is passing the hurdles and figuring things out. And a while back, it's been a couple of months ago, we had Dave Needleman who started JetBlue and Azula come to our offices and talk to a small team of us. And one of the things, this guy, obviously he was with Morris Air and then with Southwest, and then when he started JetBlue, the airline industry is a 100-year-old industry, and this guy thought that he could start a company, start an airline, and change an industry. And so adding a couple of extra inches of legroom, a lot of airlines have done that. Maybe entertainment. I mean, a lot of airlines have entertainment. A lot of airlines try to be funny. They try to be happy, or whatever the case might be. But this guy changed an industry in a way that is forcing the Deltas and other airlines to kind of follow their lead. And so anyway, when they started their Brazilian airline, same problem. I mean, it was there was one monopoly. It was a busing system, a busing company that transported people for 20, 30, 40 hours between one city to another city. And this guy has taken and built an airline that has transformed that. So now, for the same price as taking a 20-hour bus ride, someone can actually fly and be there in 45 minutes. And so when we think about change, and that we can actually change big things, all of us, and I think growing and starting companies in Utah, it's a great place because we have a lot of smart talent here. Obviously, from the labor pool that we have here, it's very entrepreneurial, and so we continue to see big things and great things coming out of Utah. So how many of you guys are involved with technology type startups of one sort or another? Almost everyone. And I think with the world that we're in today, we've had no greater opportunities. I just think back when I started AHA, it was 1999, and at the time, part of our thing was it was a search engine, and just thinking about the cloud today and how that's changing the way that it makes it easier for us to start a business. 15, 12, 13 years ago, I had stacks and stacks and stacks of servers in KSL's building downtown Salt Lake is where my servers were. And The room was too hot, so I had fans on my servers to make sure that there were, just because they're full of hard drives, I had to have so much hard drive space. And so just the world that we're in, it's just so much easier today than it ever has been before. And so I think us as entrepreneurs, we have to change. I mean, I think that sometimes we're going to have to quit our day job. Sometimes our wife might not be happy with us because we're working all day and till 4 o'clock in the morning and then getting up and going and doing it again. Sometimes we have to sacrifice other things, but I think that it's kind of what drives us. And if there were a book out there that someone could read and just do one step after another, everyone would be entrepreneurs, but everyone's not. But as we look around, as you drive down the street, every business that we pass was started by someone that had a desire to change something, and it may have been a better fast food restaurant, it might be a better hamburger, it may have been a better way to clean teeth, it may be whatever it is. Every business we pass, and as you drive down the street here, you're in a big city driving down through the middle of Chicago, business after business, every one of those was started by someone who took a risk and said, hey, I'm going to do something that is different. I'm going to do something that is better and to affect change. And I think with that, it has to start within us. Everyone has great ideas, but everyone's not going to quit their day job tomorrow and go and say, hey, I'm going to start a, hey, honey, I'm going to go start a company tomorrow. And she says, hey, here's $500 and good luck. You're probably not going to get very far. But it takes change, and I think it takes the desire deep within us. And I think as we do that, we need to make sure that we're picking the right people. And you're not going to get along with everybody that you start a business with. Maybe 2 or 3 of you, and 2 of you get along great, 1 of you doesn't. And I know even through my history, my startups, I don't know, I probably have 20 or 25 people out of the 160 that work for me today that have worked for me for the last 11 years. And you have to like who you're working with, but at the same time, I've employed a lot of other people who just didn't work out. And so I think if we look, as we're going down these roads, and I'm not saying changing direction, but just looking at those turning points and making sure that we're still going where we thought that we were going, and looking for those challenges as opportunities rather than, oh my gosh, this is not going to work out. If we do those basic things, we will be successful. Anyway, I love entrepreneurship. I love working with other folks that are starting companies. I encourage even my own employees. From time to time will come and say, I have this idea, and I really do. I encourage people to jump out and get going and start it, because that's why the world is the way that we are today, is because someone takes a risk. And so anyway, I appreciate being here. Thanks a bunch. Is there any quick questions? I think when you come to the roadblock, and I think early on, I mean, there was a time at AHA where it was like AHA was a company I started. It was successful. We sold it. It's part of a public company today. But we called it a company with 9 lives. Literally, we had some of those roadblocks where there was a Friday where we laid off every one of our employees, and 60 people went home, and Monday morning 40 of them came back and still wanted to build. And so I think I think it has to be within yourself, but it's also the people that you surround yourself with, and the vision, and believing in that vision, believing in the dream. If there's no vision out there, if there's not something that you're working for, you're never going to get people excited. You're not going to even get customers excited. You have to have that vision and that dream, and actually push that down into the others. If it's you, get your husband excited about it, your wife excited about it, your friend excited about it. If it's a couple of employees, get them excited about the business. And so they're part of the motivation, making sure that everyone is kind of moving the same direction and moving it forward. So, another question? No? Hey, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jay. I'm going to run the mic over here. So right into our next session. We have one called In the Weeds, where we try to talk more about something more tactical. Last thing, for those of you standing, again, any chair is fair game. They even have some like love sacks over here. I mean, pull one of those up around over here and get legitimate. So, but tonight we're going to hear from John Boyd, who is right in the back there. And actually, John was helping a company that presented, I think, at LaunchUp #2. Called Amber Alert GPS. John has a lot of experience with sales. And I don't know about you, but I think startups struggle with sales a lot. So he's going to talk about a startup's guide to selling. He's also recently written a book about sales. And you can find him after. He's got a few copies if you want to, buy one from him and get it signed. And later we're going to give 2 copies away as part of our drawing too. So John, come up and tell us about sales for startups.
Hey, I'm glad to be here today with so many entrepreneurs. I've been involved with technology startups for about 20 years, venture-backed tech startups, always on the sales side, and I love it. I love the energy here. I'm going to talk about one concept today, and only one concept, and what I hope is that at the end of the 10 minutes that I have, that you can internalize what I'm going to talk about, and that you can actually believe it. And what happens is, I think that we don't just believe stuff when we hear it. We have to actually apply it. When we apply it, then we start to internalize it and believe it. And I have a really good friend who had a pretty bad drinking problem up to just a few months ago. And he found this group of people that were able to help him stop drinking. And it wasn't Alcoholics Anonymous or anything like that. It was a group that said, basically, you have control of your behavior. You have control over your habit, and you can decide today to stop drinking. And we had been working for about a year. He had a business, about a $10 million business, and it was fairly economy dependent. When the economy went down, bottom fell out of his business, and he had to kind of reevaluate. And we worked together to try to find his next thing. And I said, the most important thing for you to be able to find your next business or your next job is direct contact. Making direct contact with investors, making direct contact with potential customers, making direct contact with potential partners. And I think a lot of people talk about partnering up and using your network when you're starting a business and trying to get into the community. And I hope this doesn't sound blasphemous, but I think talking about our network is a little bit overrated. I think our network is important, but there's one serious flaw with everyone's network, and what is that? What do you think that is? That's one thing. You don't see them very often unless we get out of our silos, like Jeremy said. But another thing is that our networks are finite. So our network will get us kind of to a certain level, but it's not going to get us. It's not going to be there forever. And so making direct contact with people is extremely important. And so he called me a little bit ago, and he was excited because he's been looking for about a year for a job and for his next thing. And he said, "John, I am so excited. I thought about it one day, and I thought, hey, I used this group to stop drinking, and I'm not drinking anymore. And then I thought about what you said about making direct contact, and I actually believe it now." And he actually used the word, I internalized it. I internalized it, and I started calling hiring managers in local technology companies, and this is my current sales funnel. I've got my 3rd interview with this VP of sales. I've got my 2nd interview with this company, my 3rd interview with this company. And he was telling me about, after a year of struggling, he told me about all of these different opportunities that he had right in his lap because he picked up the phone and he made the phone call. And so I thought that was interesting, and he was excited, so I thought it was interesting that he had actually internalized it and done that, and he had done that. And another quick example of that is I coach Little League Baseball right now. I coach my 9-year-old son, and I have never, ever had so many butterflies as when I coached my first game this year. I'm on my 4th game now, and I get butterflies every day now with these games. It's amazing. There's a scoreboard that lights up, and it's just kind of like high pressure. But it's a lot of fun. I love it. I love it. But I was doing some pitches with my 9-year-old son because he wants to be a pitcher, and So we stayed after practice, and he started pitching to me. And after about 20 or 25 pitches, he had only pitched about 2 or 3 strikes. The rest of them were balls. And he started to slump his shoulders, and he started to say, you know, I don't know if I can do this. And he actually wanted to go home. And I said, okay, how about 100 pitches? Let's do 100 pitches, and you can go home. And so he started doing, we got to about 35 or 40 pitches, and he was really discouraged, and he just wanted to go home anyway. He didn't want to do 100 pitches. And I said, okay, how about this? How about if you pitch 10 strikes in a row, we can go home before the 100 pitches. It's either 10 strikes or 100 pitches. And then he got a smile on his face because he kind of liked competition, and he said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So he started pitching, but he still wasn't getting very good. And then about 53 or 54 pitches into it, he pitched 3 or 4 strikes in a row. And then he hit a ball. And then a little bit more into it, he pitched 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10 strikes. And we were at about 60 pitches at that point. And he was really excited about that. And he came up to me, up to the batter's plate, and I thought for sure he was going to say, okay, let's go home now. And I said, should we go? And he said, no way, man. I want to pitch some more now. So we went back out there and we pitched quite a bit more. Why did he want to do that? Because, what's that? Because he was winning, and because he got some reinforcement that if he actually does it, that it's going to work out. So here's the thing that I think, in my career, I've made about, and I actually tallied this up once, so I'm quite confident this is a realistic number. Not to be proud of this, but I've made about 200,000 outbound B2B direct contacts or cold calls in my career over the past 20 years. And I can say that in that time frame, I have never been disappointed with my results. I have always gotten a customer within maybe 100 phone calls or so. So here's my point. My point is, just like Nicholas, my son, pitching, pick up the phone and make the calls. Make the calls to the investor. Make the calls to the VC. Make the calls to the angel guy. Make the calls to that channel partner that you thought you should be partners with. Make the call to that employee that you want. Make the call to prospective customers and get them on the phone and see if you can actually get them to sign up. And better yet, if you're in the middle of developing a product right now, pick up the phone before you're even 25% done developing the product and get some feedback. Because I can tell you that I've been involved with a lot of technology startups over the years where we built the whole thing, and then we picked up the phone and said, hey, market, do you want it? And the market said, nah, we don't want it. And we had already invested $1 million or a couple $1 million in the product. So even better yet, pick up the phone and make the call before the product is done. So the idea is, the concept is, in this situation, that if you want complete and total control over your startup, then the only way to do that is to take matters into your own hands and go out there and make that direct contact. And if you do that, I can guarantee through my own experience that you won't be disappointed over and over again. I've been doing this now as a sales outsourcing company for about 5 years, and with tech companies around the country, where I help recruit and manage salespeople, and it seems to work over and over again. So that's all I have. If we have, go ahead. We have 3 minutes. Okay. Any questions? Anything is fine about baseball, sales, anything? Why I have the same jacket on as on the picture, right here, this picture. So I gotta go shopping. Yeah, go ahead.
So you said you were never disappointed in your 200,000 calls.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because I'm confident that you didn't always get a yes.
No, I didn't always get a yes, and so here's I appreciate that question. In fact, let me answer that by telling you this little piece. It almost doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the guy says or the lady says on the other end of the phone. It doesn't matter. If people are not saying yes to you, it's not because you're bad. It's because you are not talking to the right people about the right thing. So and it's not necessarily your messaging. It could be just that your product is bad and nobody wants your product. That's a hard thing to actually swallow. That's why it's important to kind of test the market before you get the product done. But what I found is that, statistically in the long run, if I make about 50 calls, I'm going to set about 2 appointments for a discovery call, And if I get 2 appointments for a discovery call, I'm going to get one guy who actually goes into a sales cycle process that will probably buy from me. And so it's you know, and then, but it's not just smiling and dialing and doing the numbers. It's really important. It's I like to use the analogy of fly fishing. If anyone fly fishes, when you go out and fly fish, you tie the right kind of fly for the right kind of fish at the right time of the day for the right part of the river, and you cast it just the right way, and you let your line drift down so it's just a natural, looks as naturally as possible. And if the trout doesn't bite, do we feel rejected? We don't necessarily feel rejected. We don't get emotional about it. We just, what do? We try again. We try a different fly. We try a different bend in the river. We try a different part of the river. We try a different time of the day. And so it's all about the right thing for the right person, because what is value? Value is dictated by the market. We have no inherent value, do we? We only have value to the extent that somebody wants what we have. So guess what? If we're talking to somebody and if they don't want what we have, what's wrong? We don't have something of value to that person, do we? Go ahead.
Can you say something about the difference between personal contact, visiting someone, calling, and emailing?
Okay, yep. I actually think, and by the way, when I talk about direct contact, it doesn't mean that all the other marketing lead generation things are bad. They should all be used in a group, right? It all needs to be together in a group. So I think an email is excellent, and that's a direct contact. A phone call is a direct contact, and a lot of times you reinforce it one with the other. You said email and phone call, and what did you say? And person and face to face. So just today I made direct contact with about 5 or 6 people before this started. That was a direct contact. Yeah, it's in a networking venue, but it's still a face-to-face contact. I went to a meeting this morning with one of my clients, and they had a little Cinco de Mayo party with their clients and their partners. I met 5 other people, direct contact today. And so face-to-face is beautiful. But I wouldn't necessarily go and knock on doors. So you can if that makes sense, but you want to be efficient with your time as well. And if you're tired of using the phone, yeah, go knock on doors if you want to. But I wouldn't recommend doing that in volume. Go ahead.
I'm a little curious. How do you turn the no into the information you need to determine what the problem is with your product or your pitch or whatever?
Okay, this is my last one. Are we out of time? So this is a good question as well. So number one, if they say no, don't worry about it, because a no is refreshing. Don't you love to hear no sometimes? Don't you just love to get off the hook? Just say, you know what, dude, you suck. Thank you very much. Now I don't have to talk to you anymore. That's fine. That's totally fine. Because then you move on, and sales cycle filtering is so important. But what the answer to that question is, if they'll give you enough time, if they'll give you 30 seconds or 60 seconds, you can ask them a couple of questions. What is it about? I mean, does it not fit? Do you not care? Why don't you care about this? And you can just ask them really, really bluntly and informally. Okay, so you don't like my CRM product? Why not? Well, because you don't have built-in stage advancements. And it's amazing. It's really important not to assume what they don't like about what you have, because I've been constantly amazed at why people buy. Oh, I bought your $500,000 piece of software because you had a funny little button here in the middle that was green that I really liked, and that set you apart from your competitor. Okay, I didn't know you had a thing for little green buttons. But if I had asked that question, I would have known that. So every person has their own lenses that they look through, so it's important to ask them each questions and find out, what do they not like about you? And be okay with asking that questions. It takes some courage to ask those questions. Most of us don't like that feedback, but if you want to get good at what you're doing, you have to hear the hard feedback, or you're going to continue to be in sort of hopium is what they call it. You're just on hope without being in reality. I got to go now, right? I'm done. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John. That was awesome. The only thing I would add is you got to have your selling shoes on. I mean, that's important. I mean, pay attention to what's on your feet. I mean, right? You got to have selling shoes. Sandals are fine as long as you got shoes on your feet. Don't do it barefoot. Nobody says go get their selling feet on, right? So that's awesome. That's so spot on. Like, you have to make contact. That's applicable to everything in a startup, not just sales. That's great advice. All right, we're jumping into companies. eLearning Brothers is our first company, and Andrew's is the founder. He's going to present, and every company we always ask them their 3 things that they would tell other entrepreneurs. So Andrew and eLearning Brothers said, number one, you've got to get noticed in your market. Number two, don't be afraid to be the type of company that you want to be. And number three, there are tons of opportunities out there. Find your niche and stay focused. So Andrew, tell us about eLearning Brothers.
Wow, you guys are tall. Anyway, I have to say I'm a little intimidated to be talking to people that are so much smarter than I am. Hopefully you're not all in the e-learning world, so I won't sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. But basically, my name's Andrew Sibley, and my brother Sean Sibley over here. We founded the company. And before getting into, you're going to want to see the PowerPoint on this one, so if you can't see it, you might miss some of the, hopefully, humor here. But basically, before talking to you about the products or the services or whatever we have to offer, what I'd like to do is basically kind of tell you where we were from. Basically, we were founded from a big pile of poo. And I always smile when I say that word. But so there's a story behind this, though, so I'd like to tell you a little story. All right, so we've got Bob. Bob's a classroom trainer. I'm sure we've all seen classroom trainers before. And he sits in a classroom all day at some corporation, trains lots of employees. And he has, different training materials. So he has manuals and things that he hands out, and it's great, and they're huge binders, and people love them, right? Well, one day, his manager came to him and said, hey, Bob, you got to get this stuff online. We need to do e-learning. And he said, well, all right, I can do that. So he took it and he PDF'd it. And he stuck it on his intranet. And he said, this is e-learning. It's great. Everyone will love this. And his manager, after a year or two, said, you know what? This isn't working. There's this new thing out there now, and it's called interactive. So Bob said, let's make it interactive. I'll put a next button, and I'll put a back button, and now it's interactive e-learning. So this is amazing. And then Bob started thinking a little bit more about it, and he said, you know what? I can put a picture on this, and the picture didn't even mean anything. It was just a picture of some computer or something stupid like that. And then he said, you know what? And I can use fonts, and I can make it colorful. And so before long, you had his wonderful course here, and Bob's super excited. But basically, his course is a piece of crap. It's just a crappy course. That's all it was. And so basically, he thought, okay, I need some help here. And this wonderful, amazing software came out. It's called Rapid E-Learning Development Tools. So there's tools out there that now allow you to build e-learning and online training really, really quickly. You don't have to know all these, hard programs. So Bob said, this is amazing. I can build tons and tons of training. I can do it quickly. So Bob said, he's all super excited. He's stoked. Now I can build lots of crappy courses. Well, that's basically where eLearning Brothers came from. My background is built a lot of different e-learning teams, went to school in e-learning development, instructional design. My brother is a multimedia graphic designer, and we got together and we said, e-learning is so crummy out there, we need to improve this. It looks terrible. We've got all these trainers out there like Bob, and they need help. Basically that's me. That's my brother sitting over here. So basically our goal is to make your e-learning look awesome. We don't want to do it for the company. We want to enable Bob to do it himself. So how we do that is through creating templates, interactions, different assets that Bob, an instructional designer, a person in a company, can put into his toolbox and use with any of his rapid e-learning tools that he has. So we can do all the front-end work and make it look amazing and all that, but then we want him to do it. We don't want to be their custom development shop and do it all for them. We want to enable them to do that. So I just want to quickly show you a couple of the products that we have. We got a video here first. So a little bit of iMovie there. Go. All right. So basically that's what we do. We come up with all these different templates and assets that Bob can use. And so I just want to share a couple of these with you. We have a whole bunch of different, I'd say, categories of these. Everything from different things with Flash and games, interaction, quizzes, stock photography, people pictures, skins for the training courses, things like that. So you can see a couple of things here. These are just various, Flash games, Flash quizzes, and interactions. They basically get in there, they get the source files, they can come out here and tear apart these Flash files, or they can simply go in and just put their text in there and use what we had. So really you can take it, file save as, and just build out your whole template library and all your different assets. Whole bunch of different quizzes, whole bunch of different PowerPoints with 75 different layouts and different themes included. They look at this big white box and they don't know what to do with it, so we're trying to help them with that piece. And basically, everything has a theme, so we think the look and feel is really important. If it doesn't look professional, no one's ever going to get in there and actually take the training. We're very shallow learners, and if we look at something and it looks terrible and it looks crummy, then that's what we think it is. So we won't get in there and actually get engaged and be inspired by it. Here's just a few different skins that we do for various companies. And then basically we took all of that and we said, some of the people don't want to use the template and have the source file. They just want to get onto a system where they can just choose from the thumbnails, choose from a library of interactions, start creating it, fill out different tabs, just a WYSIWYG editor, throw everything in there, upload images and all that, and then come out here and choose a theme. Choose a different background style, buttons, colors, mix and match those things, and then basically when they're done with that, they just download a single file, single SWF file that they can take and import into basically any tool in the world that takes that import. And we're working on upgrading that to different versions of output and things like that. So basically, like I said, the whole reason we're in existence is because there's a bunch of crappy courses out there. And our goal is to make Bob and other internal training developers, or even other training teams that build e-learning development, they can buy our stuff and make their training awesome. And basically, Bob can create all these wonderful courses that are a lot better than the pile of poo that he had before. Just a couple of our Bobs that are out there. We do business with a lot of different companies. About probably 30% of our companies that we do business with are other development shops that just want to buy our stuff so they can build things faster and things that look better so they can resell those. And then the others are just various small and large companies, whatever it might be. All right, that's the end of my company presentation. And any questions? I guess questions, answers, maybe, if I have answers.
What do you need from us?
Basically, the whole world out there, e-learning's everywhere now. It's growing like crazy. What we have is, our challenge really is we're two brothers that founded the company. We employ one other brother of ours, so it's three brothers. We all work from our basements, and that's how we like it. Our plans for growth, maybe one or two other people or something like that, but we don't want an office. We don't want to be anywhere but our basements. And basically, that's our whole model. What we really need is we're small. It's all about getting noticed out there. Every single company does training, whether it's formalized or not, they're doing it. And every single one of them is probably doing some PowerPoint-based something or other, or something where they need the visual to that. So really, for us, it's just about getting noticed and trying to get noticed in a way other than having a big building off of I-15 that has our name on the side of it.
How did you guys generate those sales?
Most of our sales come from, a lot of it's driven online through our website. Do a ton of blogging, different social media, very active on LinkedIn, Facebook. We do about 3 or 4 conferences a year, different e-learning development conferences. There's a great one here in Salt Lake. A company named Rapid Intake runs it. It's called DevCon this summer. Wonderful. It's all about actual hands-on development. So most of our marketing is truly just online. We have wonderful rankings for our keywords, the ones that we go after, and that's how we compete against all of our really large competitors. Yeah, we don't really do any outbound sales, or other than conferences.
So is this like a plug and play where they plug into you, drop in their content and all that, or are you guys going to eventually look at someone that goes in, helps them create that, develop their own training, and make it spectacular?
Right. Not really a plug and play. They actually buy the templates from us, whether it's they get the source files, so whether it's Flash, PowerPoint, images, skins, whatever it might be, and they own that file. They've licensed that from us, and they can use that to build all their training courses. So it's not attached to us in any way. We build the assets because we don't want to build your training. We want you to do it. So we're really trying to enable those internal developers to build it on their own and not be attached to us, except when we put out a new product that they might want.
So do you think you could generate more revenue for your company if someone did that for you? Because I'm about to train 40 new people this Monday at our company, and I don't want to drop into a template and do something. I would want, here's my content, build it for me. I'm willing to pay for that.
That's a great question. There's a ton of money in custom development. And we've made a conscious decision not to do that. That's not the model, that's not the future that we want. And problem with custom work, one pro is great money, fabulous money. The downside to that is I'm basically working for you and I'm on your project schedule and all that. And again, there's two of us, we could easily get swamped if we took on a huge project. And again, it was our conscious decision when we got founded that we don't want to go in that direction. So we send it off to the people.
Focused rather than consulting focused?
Yeah. And we'll help you get the templates going. We might help create some templates, but in the end, we want it to enable you to build it on your own.
So it's not so much a platform to build it as it is you just have a collection of files they can purchase? Yep. Or is it actually like a web interface, you drag and drop and build your stuff?
Well, two things. One is a collection of different templates and assets that you can have and own the source files. The other one is our elearninginteractions.com, and that's our online tool where basically they pay us a monthly subscription. They can log in, edit all the different templates and games, and kick out a Flash file on the back end. That's a monthly subscription, and it's basically for those people who said, hey, I want to build stuff. I don't want to mess around with the source files. I don't know how to. Can't you just give me some quick stuff to do that? But again, they do it on their own. I don't do it for them.
Do you guys work with any other development companies? You said like 30% of your sales come from other development shops that just buy your stuff to make it faster. Would you guys ever make like a long-term partnership with someone like that so that they could do the custom work this guy was talking about?
Yeah, we know a lot of the custom shops, especially out west. And there's about 2 or 3 that anytime I get a request such as this one, I funnel it off to them, and we just kind of pat each other's back. And they buy templates from me. I give them a project. Yeah.
One more question.
Did you develop your products in-house or did you outsource that?
We develop almost everything in-house ourselves. And so we do that. Occasionally, if we get just swamped and we might create a few different prototypes, things like that, and outsource a little bit of it. But sometimes we'll bring on a contractor, help out just with the volume and some of the mundane, kind of repetitive things that we might need to do to make 50 templates like that. But basically, it's all our own design and our own sweat, tears. So anyway, thanks everyone.
All right, thanks. Our next company, if my clicker is working, there we go. So Clark Davis, who's the founder of Gypsy Modular, which is this stuff you're going to see in just a second. It's really awesome. It'll blow your mind. No pressure. His 3 lessons: number 1, learn to see pain. Number 2, invest in yourself, opportunity, and the intangible. And oh yeah, when the time comes, in real stuff. And number 3, get your hands dirty. So Clark, come and tell us about Gypsy Modular.
Thanks. I passed a bunch of these out already. There's a section right here. Sorry. There's a section right here. I want your comments. I want your criticism, whatever you've got to offer, context. So as I go through this, write some stuff down. There's some more over here if you don't have one. Okay, so this is the pain that I'm trying to solve, one of them. I've been a college student, just recently graduated, and have moved like 9 times, have this big desk, have to lug around every time, and it gets to be a pain. So I was trying to make a furniture that's easy to assemble, move, and on top of that is kind of fun. And so this is the solution. Here we are. A furniture line that is made of modular components. the key to this really is a product architecture for furniture that makes it really easy to make new pieces. So I've developed a connector system here that allows all these to go together with no hardware, no tools. So we're going to demo some of these here. Let's see. Why do I keep going back? Okay. So the first piece here is a kid's stool. Just slide these two pieces together. And then the top, to put it on, you see that it doesn't go directly on. It's actually made so there's some interference here. To put it on, it has to kind of twist to go together so that once it's done, it's not coming apart. There. They're pretty strong. A little bit more complicated here is the, here's a chair. So we have these hooks that are cut into these parts. There's little nubs that they interface with. Let's slide this together. And notice that each of these parts are the same part. So if I wanted this to be the back instead of the brace, I can switch the position of those. There's a chair that goes together in about 10 seconds. Pretty strong. This stool, my 3-year-old nieces figured out how to put this one together themselves. So that's the product. There's a number of variations. So here's a rocking chair made out of the exact same pieces with rocking chair sides. This is a cubby organizer, which goes together with really the same product architecture. And if I wanted, I could take the top, the back, and the bottom out of this, swap it out for these pieces and make it into a bench, put those pieces back in this one, and make it a narrow cubby. So it's really like a set of Legos. The more pieces you get, the more things you can make. And easy enough that kids can do it themselves. Done all this. Yeah, so the sides are kind of one set that's interchangeable. There's top, bottom, back that are interchangeable, and then the shelving units that are also interchangeable. Okay, so this is the initial lineup that I'm starting with. I have chair, rocker, stool, desk to kind of keep it simple when we start off, but there's a lot more that you could do here. Here's some ideas I've sketched out. So, you know, kids' workbench, toy boxes, bed frames, tool boxes, like little cradles, play hutches, kitchens. And then I would like to expand into kind of a little bit more mature market where you have coffee tables, end tables, entertainment consoles, the whole bit. So, and most of the work has been done in developing that system of connectors and how it's designed so that to expand into this doesn't take a ton of work. So how can you help right now? I'm looking at a number of distribution channels, manufacturing, but I don't want to taint your minds right now, so I want your ideas. Where would you distribute this? How would you sell this? How would you get this manufactured? A couple things that you can do to help. I have a Kickstarter project up right now. If you scan that QR code, it'll take you to the Kickstarter project. You can pledge to pre-order or just to help a starting entrepreneur. Recommend it to people you think might be interested, friends, family, aunts, uncles, whatever, and then help promote it. Right now, I think it was last Thursday, it was on KSL News. It's supposed to be in the Daily Herald this coming Sunday. Been on a number of blogs. It was on the Wired blog, their Gadget News. It's supposed to be in Tree Hugger this coming Sunday. But if you have any blogs that you frequent for new products, that type of stuff, I would love a tip to them from you. It means a little bit more coming from someone else than me. Yeah, and your ideas, connections, suggestions, whatever. So, yeah. Yeah, so right now I have a provisional, actually 2 provisionals filed right now. I have, and have had people who have actually come to me since some of this exposure interested in that, so. Let's go to questions, yeah.
What patent do you have? Can you describe that? I'm sure this isn't the first.
What is unique about this?
Yeah, what's
what you're saying? So I found other systems that go together with no tools and no hardware, but they don't use the friction, they don't use the twisting of the parts to keep them together. So the things they can accomplish are a lot more limited than this.
So what are you lacking right now in your mind? Sales guy, biz guy?
Some of that. I mean, there's a little bit of development. There's some supply chain to be developed, and distribution channels to be developed. Yeah.
With the friction and the twisting, because it's wood, how long will it stay like that before it warps to where there is no friction, there is no twisting to where it becomes loose? Is there any theory behind how long it will last before the friction's gone?
I haven't gone and tested it 300 times, but these are ones that I've put together and taken apart, I don't know, 30, 40 times by now. Yeah, it is a concern, and it's something that does need to be tested before you release it, but not quite to that, yeah. Yeah.
Is your demographic just children, or is it adults? I mean, I saw that you're looking to respect.
Yeah.
Is all your stuff right now just small stuff right now?
Yeah, right now. I actually started off with a student desk because that's the need that I felt, but there's not really that willingness to pay. There seems to be a lot more willingness to pay with this stuff. It's a lot smaller. It can be made more cheaply, so it seems like the right market to start with, but by no means the only market that could be expanded into.
I've noticed I actually will buy things just because before I purchase them, I think I want small because I gotta move them probably more times. A dresser, a big dresser, I don't want to move it. Even certain bed frames and things like that.
Yeah. So some of that I think definitely makes sense once supply chains have been established a little bit and get those costs down. Yeah. So these are made out of what's that?
Sorry, is wood the final material, or are you looking at others?
I consider plastic. These are made out of an MDF. Also, plywood is a good one. It's just a question of cost and manufacturing processes, and also the perceived value of what it's made out of. There is a pretty big green movement also that the wood definitely helps out with. So, yeah.
Have you talked to the military at all? Is that a distribution channel?
I have had somebody suggest that to me before. I haven't talked to them. I don't think it's that point yet, but.
Associations that are just focused on the families, and the families are always having to move, so that would be pretty good.
Yeah.
From a supply chain standpoint, have you looked at millwork companies or subs that you get recycled MDF from, using spare parts from there that you get for free?
No, I haven't. I mean, the trick is to...
If pieces are small enough, you may be able to get a lot of raw material for really cheap.
Yeah, it is a question of the work that's go into it to make that work, though, with each piece being different. Yeah.
So, I mean, I have a bunch of questions, but do you have sales right now, or you just...
So if you go to Kickstarter, you can pre-order. You mean, do I have it?
Yeah, so say you were sitting in front of Shark Tank right now. What are your sales, and how much would you need from Kickstarter? I mean, if you had your dream Kickstarter, you could raise all the money you felt you needed right now to really take this where it could go. What do you need?
To get started, right now the goal on Kickstarter is $35,000. That would be enough to get pre-orders and get rolling. For sales, I have a few online, and a few outside of that, but I haven't been pushing that just because you do that too early and you get bogged down with just trying to fulfill on those when you're not ready for it. Yeah.
Have you talked to anyone else who does modular kind of stuff?
I've done quite a bit of research on what's out there, looked at a number of companies, and have talked to one just briefly. Yeah, back here.
Local blog that you should get on that supports a lot of Kickstarter projects, Grassroots Modern.
Okay, it's actually has been featured on Grassroots Modern. All right. So if you fill out that paper, you can take my contact info off the bottom of it. You give me the other part back with your name. I'm going to do a drawing when I get into production and give away one of these rockers. So.
Thanks, Clark. All right, we are going to try something new tonight. We're always experimenting. We tried one other time to do kind of like an open mic where somebody could throw out, at the time it was an idea, but I wanted to change it up a little bit tonight and try something. So be thinking, I'm looking for 2 volunteers. It's going to be pretty fast because then we need to get onto the announcement of the Boom Startup companies. But to introduce this really quick, so this is something that I've heard a lot of. Somebody say, hey, I don't want to talk about problems. I only want to talk about solutions. My personal opinion, it's utter rubbish, because you can't have a solution unless you have a problem. And I actually think that a lot of you in this room, myself included, as entrepreneurs, we get caught up in solutions and ideas that are searching for a problem, and then we wonder why no one will buy it from us. And we just haven't really addressed a pain. So what we want to try tonight is not an idea pitch, not an open mic idea thing, because it kind of bugs me when somebody says, what's your idea? I'd rather have them say, what's your problem? So we're going to try a problem pitch tonight. So I need 2 people who have a problem, or maybe you don't have a problem, maybe that's too personal, but 2 people who see a problem in the world or in some situation that would like to come up and tell us. You have 60 seconds. I will time you, and I will not be as nice as the presenters. I will yell out time at 60 seconds. And then we're going to take 2 comments from the crowd and then move on. We're going to do it 2 times, and depending on how it goes, maybe we'll do it. So no pressure, because if you screw up, you might kill the experiment, and then we never try something cool like this again. But does anybody have a problem that they would like to pitch to our audience tonight? And if no one has a problem that they'd like to pitch or sees a problem, then we're all a bunch of worthless entrepreneurs. Okay, right there in the back. Come on up. And then you've got one too? Okay, so we've got our 2. So come up. Okay, we'll do a third. See, sells shoes on, John. He's got his selling shoes on. All right, come on up, sandals. All right, so Dave, are you ready? Don't, let me get my phone.
All right. I've always wanted to be the first to kill an idea.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Okay, so we see one of the largest problems in the world is underutilized human capital. Everyone has a talent that they could teach someone else, that someone else is looking for, that would pay to receive. Our company is largely focused on that. We have services that allow people to put into a marketplace what they have to offer, what they have to teach, and someone else would come in and pay to learn it. Our question is, how do we reach out to them? Because it's a potentially unlimited market. But we want to figure out, how can you convince someone to come in and become an entrepreneur to teach?
Bribery is the answer to almost everything. I mean, most people are passive for a lot of different things. You give them the right incentive, and they'll jump all over. Even if it's nothing, even if it's a badge on Foursquare or a level up in a game. It doesn't have to have a monetary value. Bribery.
Okay, over here, last you, and then we're moving on.
Google does it. So you go on to YouTube, and you watch these people. What they're doing is they're getting paid. I can sew, so I go on there and I sew, and then I basically get paid for teaching somebody how to sew, or whatever trade I have, and anybody in the world can do that and get paid through Google. Some people get paid around that.
All right, thanks.
I'm going to actually, not because I have all the answers, but I'm going to provide a little critique. So if you notice, he immediately went to the solution. He spent maybe 10 seconds on the problem, and then it was immediately, well, this is what we're going to do. So for the next people up, I'd like you to try to spend the whole 60 seconds on the problem. I don't care what you're trying to solve, what your solution is. I mean, tell us what it is, who has it, how big is it. Those are questions about the problem that if you don't know, your solution is somewhat, immaterial. So, that's the thought is, I mean, you don't have to take 60 seconds. If you're done in 30, that's okay. But you can talk up to 60 seconds just about the problem.
Might already be a solution to this, so I don't know. We might just not know. But, okay, so my background as an interior designer is that everything in interior design is paper. People still deal with faxes and paper all the time, and I'm constantly just filling up binders of paper and paper and paper. Just today, I wanted to fax information. And it's just so annoying because it's just like these little details that no one really uses email very much. You have to fax everything or take it to them. So really annoying problem. Love to figure out some solutions. For example, today I got an email from some merchant service company who wanted me to sign a contract, except the type of file they sent it in was nothing I could actually input the information in and do an electronic signature. So I had to print it out, sign it, scan it back in, email it to the guy, and it took me like an hour. So anything faster would be great.
Questions? You already got new people.
I have a solution.
Right.
Well, there actually is. There are a couple of different iPad apps that allow you to do exactly that with a variety of document types that you can sign digitally immediately.
Do you have a pad with a you have to have a pen?
I'm going to go into question quick. So I want you to, I'm going to break my own rules, but I can do that. So tell us a little bit more. You mentioned interior design. So, because is this an interior design problem, or is this everyone in the world doesn't do electronics problem?
I think.
And why is it? And if it is,
well, the merchant account wasn't even interior design. It was just I'm trying to set up a merchant account for this online store, and it seems like I get email attachments all the time. I'd love to just be able to drag that document, throw it in somewhere, put an electronic signature, and just email it back to them. So I don't know if that solution exists.
It does, but it's not ubiquitous yet. There's a company called DocuSign. There's a company called Solanis, S-I-L-A-N-I-S, I think. And there's a company called ContractPal, and there's a bunch of others where you can actually put the document in there, do a quick little signature, and it will email and it will sign and date stamp it. And but the problem, I have the same frustration, and the problem is that not everybody has adopted that yet, so some people might be a little adoption resistant. But
all right, thanks. All right, Jared. You got 20 seconds, because I'm going to hold you to it. Go.
How are you going to find another guy to do this? So the big problem, how do you get guys, biz guys, sales guys that have a ton of great ideas, but you lack the technical side to say if it's feasible or how you go about putting it into real life?
That was perfect. So, yeah.
I think, do a lot of people have that problem or just a couple of us?
So Derek says pay someone in India. Any other thoughts? So
that's not a new idea, but good.
Learn the code.
Learn the code. That sounds effective.
Chuck.
So I'm kind of on the other end because I'm the technical guy who has business guys come to me all the time and going, I've got this great idea, blah, blah, blah. And the problem that I run into, there are a couple of things. One is they bring up some product that I honestly care less about. I mean, they give me this big long spiel, and it's like, oh great, but I don't know who's going to buy it. I don't see the merit behind the idea. The other problem is that, sometimes they just want to offer me equity or something, and before I really wasn't in a position to accept equity. I had to get paid. And so, you have to find tech guys that are in the position that you are able to meet. So if the tech guy has enough money to get by on until the company's making enough to pay him, then you solve part of the problem, and then you just have to make him a believer in your idea. Because if you don't, forget it. And if you don't offer him enough equity, forget it. The other thing is then once you've made him a believer, you've made sure that you can cover what he needs, I mean, just to live or whatever, and you've made him an advocate, then keep him involved in some of the other business decisions and stuff, and make him feel like he has a real stake in the company and not just in building the technology.
Okay, thanks. I think we're good on that. I know there's more, but you guys can connect afterwards. So, actually, that's a huge problem. That's one reason that for LaunchUp we do our tech clinics ahead of it, is because sometimes you just need somebody to tell you, is it bigger than a bread box? Like, is my idea, is it is it a 1 million man-hour project or a 2 man-hour project? So anyway, okay, problem pitch is done. So maybe we'll try that again, maybe we won't. But think about your problem. You have to talk problems, and you have to convince other people that you're trying to get engaged in your startup. They've got to buy into the problem, and then to believe that they are part of the solution and building the solution. So now we're gonna have Rob Coons come up, and he is going to announce the summer class of Boom Startup. So I'll let him tell you a little about Boom Startup. I'm a big fan, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but it'll maybe you're biased because you run the thing. So, Boom Startup was just ranked as one of the top 15 mentor-based incubators in the whole country, which yeah, good job. I got to get this mic thing up. Okay, which considering that that this is only their second year, that's actually even more impressive because they beat out some programs that have been doing it for a lot longer. I'm excited to be one of their mentors this year. You know, there are a lot of, who here was in Boom Startup last summer? So look around, you've got a lot of hands. I won't ask who's in it this summer because that'll really steal your thunder, Rob. But so I'm a big fan of Boom Startup, and they're going to announce their companies and let us know who's going to be in their summer program. And just so that you know, all of you companies, you have an open invitation to present at LaunchUp sometime in the next several months. The whole idea of LaunchUp is we take the best and the brightest companies here and try to get the community together and build the barn. That's why we have a barn that's shooting to the moon. You know, we're barn raising for entrepreneurs. So, you know, we want you to come back and present, and we want you to get the resources of the community behind you so that we can continue to do great things in Utah. Rob, tell us about what you've got and who they are.
All right, thank you. Very good. Thank you for LaunchUp. Jeremy, thanks for having us. And just to acknowledge some of the people in the room, because Boom Startup is really, it's really a community-driven effort. It really, truly is. So let's see. Let's just talk to some of our, maybe recognize some of our sponsors today. So do we have BTJD here? Jared, okay, we got in the back. Grant Thornton. I think we've got some representation here from them. Advanced CFO Solutions. Some of the investor mentors are here today. Kimball and Craig Earnshaw and the whole group. And thank you for everybody applying for this year's program. We're coming off a really hot year. As Jeremy said, we got selected in the top 15, which is really cool here for our state of Utah. The other cool thing that's happened is we're going to make 2 announcements tonight. The first announcement is actually, we're going to be announcing the selection. That's going to be the second announcement. But you might know that in order to run these programs as part of a community-driven effort, we have to go out and raise funds, right? We have to raise funds to give to the companies. We have to get sponsors, right? We have to get service providers. We have to get mentors. We have over 40 mentors. You know, there's a lot of work. So I've actually been out fundraising, which is really interesting as an angel investor, putting money into Boom Startup. I find myself in the shoes of everyone in this room as entrepreneurs when you have to go fundraising. So that was kind of fun this year to have to go through a fundraising effort. But it takes about $250,000 to $400,000 to run one of these programs each year. So I'm really happy to report tonight that we not have only completed our 2011 fundraising process, but we oversubscribed the fund. We're fully funded for 2012. Okay, so we're going to have Boom Startup basically in its third year will be locked and loaded basically already for next year. So with that, let's give ourselves a round of applause. That's a good thing. Yeah. That's great for our state in Utah. That's super cool for Utah and the things that we're doing here and putting ourselves basically on the map. So the next portion here, I'd like to acknowledge, actually, we've got my other co-managing partner, John Richards. He's actually had to go out of state today due to some family things he had to look after. I'd like to invite John Bradshaw, who's also a co-founder of Boom Startup, up to come on up with me today as well. And I'd like to invite Andy White, who's our executive director for 2011, basically, to make the announcement. So one last thing. Okay, so what we're going to do, because we're going to run through this really quick, is we're going to invite all the companies, I guess, up at once. But I have one little thing to say. So this selection process, we were down to the final wire, right? We had to pick the top 10, but thank you for all the companies applying. We selected the top 10, and we wanted to keep this really kind of in tight control. So we all hung out in the Uinta Mountains, right, as we got the final selection done. And there's only one other person in the state of Utah that had access to the final 10 nominations. And guess who that was? Anyone? John Richards, yeah, but he's part of it, so that's good. Anyone else guess? We had to send the PowerPoint presentation to LaunchUp. So Jeremy Hanks is the only other one in the world that had access to this information. And I just found out it's been tweeted all over the world. So Jeremy, how did you leak the information of the Boom Startup final candidates? Oh, he said he didn't leak it. Anyways, let's get rolling, all right? Because it's out. It's out in the public. I don't know who leaked it. VentureBeat picked it up about 50, 60 minutes ago, and it's spreading like wildfire. So let's jump into it, and I'm going to turn over to Andy, our executive director, to announce. It's been leaked. And Jeremy, he's the only one in the world. Only one. Check your tweet. How did that happen? I didn't do it. That'll go down in history, all right? Anyways, hey, thanks. That's all right, man. It's cool. That's cool. No? All right, here we go. All right, so all of the Boom Startup 2011 companies, if you're here, please come on up to the front, and we'll pass around to Mike, I guess, and go through each company.
All right, so we're going to announce the companies in no particular order other than alphabetical. So for you guys, if you have an idea of where you might be, you are not first. Right. How about a company whose name starts with a C, beginning of the alphabet? Anyone? All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to run through this real quick. I'm going to give the guys each about 30 seconds to introduce themselves and their company, and then we'll move to the next one. I'm just going to do the clicker.
Awesome. So my name is David Romero. This is Travis Collette. A little embarrassed about our logo because Travis made this on Adobe Illustrator in about 20 minutes. We're still waiting on our real logo. But so what we do is we revolutionize fitness for kids by employing game mechanics on an online platform. So we focus on fitness and nutrition for kids ages 6 to 13. So it's a lot of fun. We just met with the Alpine School District today, and so they'll be using our beta product this summer for their 52 schools. But right, we're just building. If you have kids in that age range, or you know people that are teachers or administrators, go ahead and go to the website Champion Village, and you can leave an email address. The beta is not ready just yet, but it should be in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
We're very excited to be part of the Boom Startup program. The reason we call our company Circle 5 is because the easiest way we could explain what we were doing was Foursquare in reverse, basically, is what we were doing. What we do is to help service-oriented companies, companies that come to your home to work with you, plumbers, door-to-door salesmen, different people like that come out to your house, lawn care, pest control, and we help them, in a way, check in at your home and be able to help them to get reviews and to leverage those reviews for more referrals, as well as help out to get more information from about their techs, to get more business intelligence, things they can do to help their business out as well. So that's basically what we do. Circle 5, go check us out.
I have a problem, tall people and tall mics. I'm John McCoy. I'm the CEO of, co-founder of Explore.io, which doesn't mean anything just yet, but I'm excited for this opportunity with Boom Startup and to make it something. Explore.io, a great way to describe it is to kind of rip off, I guess, a maverick slogan of Adventure's First Stop, or Last Stop, or whatever it is. For Explore, we're essentially Adventure's first stop, I guess middle stop, and last stop. We're working with local companies and kind of getting this rolling, but mostly for people of all outdoor levels, the experts, the hunters planning their Alaska hunting trip, the weekend warrior fishermen, fly fishermen want to test out his new rod and reel, and also the family with kids that are trying to find a great place to go camping that allow them to go in, research, plot, explore, brag, and share as they plan their trip, and also when they're on their trip, check in places, and when they're done, again, do the same thing by mapping it on a map, showing everyone where things are, everyone getting excited about it, and hopefully growing the outdoor community in Utah and across the world. Again, we're excited to be here, part of Boom Startup, and I guess get people out and outdoors and enjoy nature. Thank you.
My name is Rob Johnson. I'm the CEO of Face Tags. You've all seen these tags. In fact, we had a great example of this today where we're trying to link the physical and digital content so that we get that one-to-one relationship with everybody who's carrying one of these around. Face Tags does that by using your face as a tag, and so we do facial recognition, and then you can associate data with your face so that when I scan your face, it brings back that information. And so you'll never leave home without your business cards. Wherever you go, there you are the tag. Thank you.
How's it going? I'm Joel with Golf Compete. Do we have any golfers in the room? That's it? Okay, well, you're not the group then. Golf Compete is a solutions provider for golf courses. We also optimize their tee times and then provide them to the public, you or the golfers that did raise their hand, for a cheap price. And so right now, if you go to golfcompete.com, you can sign up for our beta launch. It'll be here hopefully at the beginning of next month. Thanks.
I'm Taylor Olson. I co-founded Joombas with Colton Hicks and Josh Lyman. The daily deal space is exciting. There's over 500 new daily deal sites thanks to Groupon. We go out and organize, consolidate the mess, put all of the deals for each city in one place, and allow our users to unsubscribe from the 5-10 sites they enjoy. We send one email listing all the deals, and we weed out the crappy deals they don't want to see by letting them preset preferences. Additionally, we've built in a platform that will allow the very companies that Groupon's successes hurt the most, direct mailers and print coupons, to put some of their offerings online and simultaneously give them an online presence and help save their company. Also, just real quick, wanted to thank Boom Startup for the opportunity. Being around the mentors and the environment they've created is an entrepreneur's dream come true, and just really excited for the summer.
I'm Joel Duffin, and this is Justin Ball. We are OER Glue, and we pervasively mash up the web for teaching and learning. OER stands for Open Education Resources. We come from academia where teachers are trying to use a lot of good resources on the web. What we let you do is, through a drag and drop interface, take and mash up any page and organize it into a structure for teaching. So instead of taking content and copying it into a system like Blackboard, use it where it is on the web. If you want to teach something with the White House homepage, you go there. If you want to put a discussion in there, put a video in there, get rid of some things, you just do it. And then you share that, publish it out. Now your students can use it, other teachers can fork it and build that. So the content lives where it is. As it gets updated, it's updated, it's current. But then you can add that interactivity through integrating with basically any system that's out there. You can integrate it into any page. So as new tools and things come on that are useful for teaching and learning, you can build them into your teaching. So.
Okay, so we're PromoQ. I'm Mark Walker. We're a promotion analytics company, so we gather information for merchants to help them improve their marketing, right? So we're starting out in kind of the coupon print advertising space. There's 300 billion plus print coupons issued every year in the US, and the redemption rate on that is less than 1.7%. So it's a huge market, and there's a lot of potential there. And we all know how it is, cutting out a coupon and then showing up at the store and paying full price because we don't know where it is. So using scan technology, we allow anybody with a smartphone to scan up those coupons and redeem them later and gather up that information so merchants can make better decisions as far as what marketing is effective and why. So that's what we do. Thanks.
I'm not very tall either, so my name's Tyler Pack, and I am one of the founders of Pros. And what we do at Pros is we help professional private instructors be able to find clientele to grow their business and then provide SaaS-based management solutions to be able to manage that business. And when I say private instructors, I'm meaning professional music teachers, tutors, athletic trainers, hobbyists, people that make a living by sharing their skill. Our premier website, Find Pros, launched last year, and we already have a number of instructors that are on this site, and it's a referral center so instructors can find clients, they can advertise their lessons, and really be able to grow their business and share that talent which they have.
Even shorter than that guy. I'm Brigham Arcee. This is Joseph Morton, and we co-founded View Therapy. So View Therapy is an online platform for mental health. We allow patients to speak to their therapists online through video, web chats, and we also offer management tools for our therapists. And we're excited to be with Boom Startup. We'd like to say thank you for the opportunity, and we look forward to this summer. Also, we're launching our website this weekend, so feel free to stop on by. We're always looking for talent, and we'd love it if you dropped us a line. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. So yeah, that's the 2011 class. That's their first public pitch. By show of hands, who's ready to throw in 50,000? Okay, we'll take it as a challenge. Give us 3 more months. Investor Day, August 19th, for all you accredited investors out there, and we will get your money. Thank you.
All right. Rob, I really thought you were messing with me. I just want to defend myself a little bit. So the VentureBeat article has quotes from you, which I couldn't have provided. And detailed descriptions of each company, which the slides didn't have. And I've been here at LaunchUp since 3:30, and the internet doesn't work, which is why we're not streaming. So I've got an ironclad defense. I got like 6 layers of defense there. And AT&T blows here too, so I can't get on my iPhone. So let me just throw this out there too. I think Boom Startup's awesome, but if you happen to apply and you didn't get picked, the best thing you can do is go kick ass and then prove them that they were wrong for not picking you. So if anyone in the room, the best thing that I can hear as an entrepreneur is when somebody tells me no, because that just basically means they're either stupid or stupid, and so I'm going to prove them wrong. So anyway, Andrew and Clark, come up. Come on up. This is my favorite part of LaunchUp. Just come on up. All you got to do is take $100. So if you haven't seen it, this is a 90-day supply of ramen noodles, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, if you buy it on Amazon.
Thank you.
So tagline for LaunchUp is we give startups 90-day burn rates. So, but thanks for presenting. These guys have awesome companies. Give them another round of applause. Couple last things. So again, if you weren't here, if you missed it, the doing business with China, it's worth a half a day. They have some really, really important people from China that are coming, and I came back from China, and I basically, I immediately wanted my kids to start learning Mandarin Chinese, and I wanted to understand how, as an entrepreneur, I could figure out this market, because it's 25% of the world's population, and they all are growing at 12 to 15% a year, and there's massive, massive opportunities there in China. So come to the conference and just see. I mean, maybe your particular business there isn't, but when these things are happening, and they're happening in Utah, how can you afford not to go? Because maybe your next business, or the one after that, or the one after that, has some opportunity there. Junto Partners, we've been talking about this now for a few months. It's great training by Greg Warnock and others. It's a lot of information. The best thing is Joe Grover is who you need to contact. If you need, I can get you their info too. But it's training for entrepreneurs. It's really good stuff. And the last thing we need to do is give away some stuff. All right. 2 books first. I got so many hands. Aim, come up and help. So, Selling You by John Boyd, right there in the back. So, Matt Chadburn. Matt? Yeah. I have to be honest with you. If John hadn't given me the books, you'd have had an Apple TV, because we only normally do 1 drawing. So, sorry, man. Transparency. I can't. Where's Josh Steinway? What's your daughter's name? Magdalena won a book. Does she want a book, or Dad wants the book? She's going to be a selling fool. All right. And then for the Apple TV, I mean, this is just a shameless plug to get your email address. And we send out one email once a month. It comes from newsletter or something at launchup.org about our event. And that's how you know when and where we are. So, Trevor Hitbrand? Come on, Trevor. All right. Next month, first Thursday, like always, we're still looking for a spot. If you know of a place that can fit 100-ish people. How many people did we have tonight? So 120, 130 people. Let me know. We have some spots we can use, but some of our standbys are harder to use in the summertime. So, but you can check the site, and that's where you're going to know about a week in advance. You're going to know about LaunchUp. And I think other than that, just thanks to one-on-one marketing. Let's give them a round of applause for letting us crash their offices. Especially, Nick Greer, CEO, and then also Ashley, who's downstairs basically waiting for all of us to get out of here so she can finally go home. So if you see her, tell her thanks. And then for Clark and Wes, who helped with all the video and everything, thanks for that. Stuart Goodwin, who does goodwinmedia.com. So we've been working on this for a while, and we were hoping for tonight, but I think for sure next month we will have a really, really cool new website. All kinds of cool stuff. I'm really excited. And then Matt Smith, Jeff Moss, and Jared Richards, who help me. We meet once a month, talk about LaunchUp. So contact any of the four of us if you have ideas, if you want to offer to help, and we'll put you to work. Other than that, we now are shifting to the Cinco de Mayo portion celebration of LaunchUp. And yeah. Yeah, it's the 2nd. Good catch. The 5th is today. Thanks, Dave. Just first Thursday. Don't watch the details. This happens late at night sometimes. So, Thursday, June 2nd, which is a Thursday. Thursday, yeah. Okay. Thursday, June 2nd, the 2nd, 3rd Thursday. Okay. Tacos. So I went to Del Taco and I bought 450 tacos. So there's half soft, half crunchy. I don't know how many tacos people eat, so take a couple, and if there's lots left, then you can do. I know who was going to do the 20. Somebody said they were going to eat 20 tacos. AJ. Well, but don't do that at first. And we got drinks, and then we'll see you next month. Thanks for coming.